Hi, this is an explanation for weeks 7 and 8. Both weeks, back to back, are hybrid. The topics for week 7 and 8 are probability, statistics, and measurement. And during these 2 weeks, you're going to read chapters 20 and 21 on probability and statistics, and you're going to read chapter 18 on measurement. You're going to view the PowerPoint presentations on both subjects, both topics, probability and statistics, and measurement. You're going to answer the questions that relate to the PowerPoint and complete some other PowerPoint textbook activities. Let's click on the week. You'll find two folders, one for the probability and statistics activities, one for the measurement activities. And then here is the week 7 8 Dropbox that you will put all of your work in this week. Let's click on the probability and statistics activities folder. Here is the PowerPoint. When you click on that, the PowerPoint will download and you can then read the PowerPoint. And then you're going to respond to two questions based on the information in the PowerPoint and our textbook. So make sure you have read chapters 20 and 21. And you're going to locate some data, something meaningful to you. It can be anywhere you find it. It can be found in the newspaper, in magazines, online. And you're going to create a graph using that data that best represents that information that you collected. And you're going to pose a question about what the data responds to, and then analyze the information and explain the results from the data you collected or that you found, and further questions you're going to think about that might be needed based on the information collected. So you can find data that you find anywhere, or you can find and collect some simple data. Maybe you work with students and you're going to ask them a question and figure out a graph based on the question you asked them. And you're going to then post that graph that you've created. It can be a pie graph, it can be all different types of graphs, whatever works best for the data that you've either found or created. And then you're going to make sure we know the question which the data responds to, and you're going to analyze that information and explain the results. And last but not least, you're going to identify some further questions about that information you collected. Your second activity is to respond to questions 1 or 2 of the probability questions attached to this lesson. And here are the attached files right here. If you click on that, you'll find two questions that have multiple parts to them. You pick 1 or 2 and do all the parts for either one. I think the first question has 2 parts and the second question has 3 parts. And then if you want extra credit, do both questions and respond to both questions. We're going to look at the folder for measurement now. This is the PowerPoint, and there are some questions under the slide. If you look in the view, the notes view, you don't want to enlarge it to the total PowerPoint presentation, but if you look in the smaller view underneath the slide, you'll see some notes that I've taken. Many of them are questions. So what you need to do is, in a document, write the question and then respond to that based on what you read in the slide and based on the information in your textbook. Now, not every slide has a question, and then you're going to post your responses to the questions in week 7 and 8 Dropbox. Then there is a reading folder. So after you've read chapter 18 on developing measurement concepts, then you're going to read 3 articles, and these 3 articles are in this folder. You have assessing children's understanding of length measurement. You have how big is a foot, how far did it go. You're going to read all 3 of those first, and then you're going to pick one to create a lesson plan. If you create how big is a foot, you will probably need to read how big is a foot here that I have put into a PowerPoint presentation. And guess what? You're going to use the lesson plan template for educational studies. So there are 2 activities for the measurement activities. One is to answer the questions under the slides in the PowerPoint, and the second one is to pick one of those articles and turn that information into a lesson, which you'll be able to do. And that takes care of the explanation for this week, these 2 weeks, hybrid weeks that you'll be working on. I'll see you online.